Last time on Shadow Piece, the journey towards Hachinosu started from many different directions, but they all have the same intentions, to save a family member, be it Pudding or Perona. On the command of Maria, Epsilon first went to notify the fleet of death members who were staying on Elbaf, and afterwards the allies on Wano. Unlike the people on the island of giants, it's a bit more complicated for the samurai. After being ruled for 2 decades by Kaido, there are many things they need to do, and even after the Strawhat Pirates helped for a week following Kaido's defeat, that didn't remove the wounds immediately. Because of all that, they couldn't say for sure how many or even if any warriors could join the war. However, the war on Hachinosu is not the next big event on the schedule of the world. Another conflict precedes it. The movement of the entire revolutionary army has grown hasty, and that all because of the news Karasu sends to his leader with a soot crow. Nobody has seen Dragon this angry since the time he couldn't save the lover of one of his closest comrades and friends. But meanwhile, on the battleship leading the fleet of marine forces, Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, was it really necessary to do that? I mean, he was a hero. I think respecting the past is an important part of our duty. A fearless Vice Admiral decided to confront the Fleet Admiral for his decision. He already had a good guess what would happen with him for it, but it goes against his sense of justice to disrespect a hero like that. Huh? Other Marine members are distancing themselves from the situation, quietly saluting the Vice Admiral. Many have been against the radical form of absolute justice that Sakazuki follows, but no one dared to go against him. Basically, the Marines can be categorized into 3 different groups right now. First, the people also pursuing absolute justice or a similar moral variation of the fleet admirals. Second, the Marines too afraid to do anything but who are quietly judging the decision of their leader. And third, people who already handed in their letter of resignation but still want to work for the Marines, but when the time comes they can freely choose the decision and be cut off by the Marines. For the longest time, this Vice Admiral was part of the second category, but this singular decision was the final straw for him. He had many things he wanted to say, now that he gained the confidence for it finally, but the burning sensation on his throat just made him wince in pain. Betrayal before we even get to the battle location. The first casualty of the war, I guess. Akainu carries the Vice Admiral to the border of the ship, and without any hesitation he throws his subordinate over the edge. Even if we expect your death, you still scream when it happens. Countless Marines hurry over to the railing to look at their comrade falling and finally splashing into the ocean. One soldier who was especially shocked starts talking with a shaky voice. But Fleet Admiral, he is a devil fruit user! For some, this was new information. They just thought that Sakazuki had left the Vice Admiral in the ocean fighting for his own life to survive, but it was the opposite. Instead of a quick death by a magma fist through the body, this man will now slowly drown, unable to do anything except suffer. An example was made, but the Fleet Admiral didn't stop yet. Anyone still standing at the edge of the ship in the next 5 seconds will be treated as a traitor as well. Don't question my decisions. All you need to do is follow my orders. The fear-filled atmosphere could be felt by anyone, and at the latest, now they regret being on this ship and not on one led by one of the other admirals or a powerful vice admiral. Until their arrival on the island of the revolutionary armies, they were on edge, not because of the war, but because of their leader. This is the biggest coordinated attack the world government has ever made, even surpassing the size of the Buster Call on Akkad Island recently. What really is terrifying about this fighting force though is that the Fleet Admiral, the 3 Admirals, all the Vice Admirals that were options to become Admirals when Sakazuki got promoted and Aokiji left the Marines, and also countless other powerful Vice Admirals are part of this fighting force. It is not just a before unseen quantity of Marine soldiers, but also the highest quality imaginable. Greenbull's ship is also very tense. Only the vessels on which Kizaru and Fujitora are on are a bit more relaxed. Obviously they are still tense because of the battle awaiting them, but the vibe on these ships is much different. So much in fact that a normal soldier is having a casual talk with Admiral Fujitora. Sir, I understand that the Revolutionary Army is very powerful, and I shouldn't underestimate their supreme commander, but I really can't seem to take someone serious who ate the fart fruit. A few of the other soldiers spurred out in laughter, and even Fujitora lets out a hearty laugh before answering. I know what you mean, so... He looks around for a second, despite being blind. Don't tell this to the Fleet Admiral. What I'm going to tell you now is one of the government secrets only admirals and higher know about. All of the soldiers gulp down the saliva that accumulated in their mouths in anticipation for what is to come. A few even desperately run away to avoid hearing confidential information. It would after all just complicate their future lives. Many, however, are too curious to leave this situation. I think I have to elaborate this story a bit so that all of you will understand it fully. But for those of you not interested in my long ramblings, Monkey D. Dragon did not eat the fart fruit. That would be just ridiculous. The people agree, but that is what the world was told, so they had no reason not to believe it. There is a myth that the mother of life and death had 4 children. Quadruplets, in fact. Well, I guess technically there are 5, even though they are quadruplets. Suddenly hearing Fujitora talk about a known religious myth took them by surprise. They all have heard this tale before. But that part you already know. It is only the names of these people that got hidden from the public. Now they are growing nervous. All of them know that the world government has things they keep hidden. But why the names of deities? That felt a bit arbitrary. The mother was known as Hisanashi, and her children were called Ichika, the forest god, Nika, the sun god, Sanka, the rain god, and Yonka, the earth god. Just names alone are not enough to make them all jump out of their seats, but they can already guess why their admiral first revealed this information. Monkey D. Dragon, the world's most heinous criminal, is in fact one of the people chosen by the gods. The true name of his devil fruit is the human fruit model Sanka. A god. The person they will be fighting against will have the powers of a god. This is a huge hit on their morale. But knowing that all the admirals and the fleet admiral already knew about that makes their confidence not disappear completely. It must mean that they were confident in defeating him even though he had god powers. Sanka is also known as the Bringer of Renewal. A very fitting title for the leader of a group of revolutionaries if you ask me. One little history session later, and the people on Fujitora's ship now have a much better understanding of the tough battle ahead of them. But the Purple Tiger Admiral still has something to say. There are stories that these god devil fruits choose their own user. So does that mean Dragon isn't the right? I don't think so. There has to be a reason for the way the world government is acting as well. I hope that we can all see a clearer picture of the right path after this war. However, if Sakazuki doesn't prove that his decision was correct, I won't hesitate to change sides. That is not something you want to hear from one of your strongest combatants and leaders so shortly before a war, and yet all the soldiers understand exactly where Fujitora is coming from. They say using family is the best way to make somebody lose their cool, but doing that to the hero of the Marines? Nobody knew how to feel about that. Slowly storm clouds are approaching them, but these aren't natural ones. They are filled with emotions and the intent to destroy the entire approaching Marine vessel fleet. Attacking us because we are revolutionaries who are against your reign of terror is one thing. All the clouds form together, creating a gigantic version of the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dragon. Thunder striking in every direction from the cloud body, attacking many of the different vessels. If not for the usage of a form of advanced armament haki, many battleships would have already been destroyed. But you decided to bring him into it. We might not have always seen eye to eye, but despite all that, he is still my father. I was planning to show mercy to you, but that changed now. Be prepared, because only death is waiting for you once you step on this island. This went exactly how Fleet Admiral Akainu planned it. To anger Dragon and make him unable to think calmly, he threw away the ace up the Marine sleeves that they had for decades. The hero of the Marines, Monkey D. Garb. He may have been a legend of the old era and still a formidable fighter even in old age, but after what Sakazuki did to him, he was nothing but a corpse. A corpse nailed to the front of the leading battleship. Whew, so this is how we end today's episode of Shadow Piece. Well, I told you it was only going to get shadowier from here on out. Lore drops, power reveals, and a big death. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to how this will all play out. But for now, that is all from me for today. All that's left to be said is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro, out. Bye!